Hi Stebbin! Happy Monday. It's a brand new week. I hope you had a lovely weekend. To lots of you, I'm a familiar face, but to some of you, I'll be a new face. So I thought I'd introduce myself. My name's Patricia, and so it would be really nice if you give me a wave when you see me in the corridor and you say hello Patricia, and the same when I come into your classrooms. Now, today's assembly is a special celebration. It's a really special day today because we are celebrating someone's birthday. Whose birthday are we celebrating? Well, we are celebrating the birthday of Roald Dahl. Roald Dahl was a very, very famous, perhaps the most famous writer, author of children's books ever. Here are some of his brilliant books and some of my favourites. He wrote Fantastic Mr. Fox. Here's Mr. Fox doing his thing on the front cover. He gets up to all sorts of adventures to save his family and his community. He also wrote George's Marvellous Medicine. If you haven't read this one, George has got a very mean and nasty grandma, and George takes his revenge on her with his marvellous medicine. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Surely Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is one of everyone's favourites because everyone loves chocolate. And one of my very favourites is Matilda. Matilda has a bit of a tough start in her life, but she works really hard and she grows her amazing brain and she ends up having a wonderful time. Now, I found out some fun facts about Roald Dahl for this assembly. Did you know that he wrote nearly all of his stories in a little shed at the bottom of his garden? He called it his writing hut. And he used to write for 4 hours every day. He was really strict about it. He sat in his hut for 4 hours every day and wrote his stories. And in writing his stories, he invented more than 250 words that we use today. Imagine that! 250 words that didn't exist, that we didn't use before he made them up in his brain. And another fact that Year 6 might be very interested in was that Roald Dahl was a fighter pilot during World War II. And that means he flew planes to help the war effort. What a brave man. Now, all this thinking about Roald Dahl got me thinking not just about my favourite stories that Roald Dahl wrote, but about all my favourite stories that I've read since I was tiny and started to learn to read when I came to primary school a really long time ago. But there's so many to choose from. I'm going to ask your teacher to hit pause on the video, and can you have a chat with your talk partner? What are your favourite stories? Have a think and share with your partner. Are you back? Did you have a lovely chat? Have you got lots of stories in your head? Great. Now, instead of me telling you about some of the stories that I like, I've asked lots of the adults here at Stebbin to show you their favourite books and read you a little sentence from them. Perhaps some of the adults have the same favourite stories as you. Perhaps some of the adults you're going to see will surprise you with their choice of favourite story. And perhaps some of their choices will inspire you to try a new story. Enjoy!
This is my favourite book. After we left the classroom, I said, "Dude, thanks for doing that." And he was like, "No problem. That was cool."
Bigu didn't like being alone. She needed to find some friends.
Favourite book, The Owl Who Was Afraid of the Dark by Jill Tomlinson. This is Plop. Plop is a baby barn owl. He's fat and fluffy. He has big round eyes. He has soft, downy feathers. He's perfect in every way except for just one thing.
Don't worry, little crab, says Very Big Crab. I'm here. Come, just a few more steps.
Is it an elephant having a poo?
She poured herself a cup of tea and lay back with her eyes closed. It was heaven.
This is our last week at school, said Max. It seemed incredible.
Wisher and the Runaway Piglet. Mellow Longears was expecting her first babies, and today was the day.
Favourite book? Elmer in the Snow. The elephants forgot all about Elmer until they heard his voice nearby. Help! Help! I've frozen solid!
Hello, Dad, said Bennett.
Three friends sharing a shell down by the sparkling sea.
All they wanted to do was to have peace to enjoy this strange, wild, blissful music from the giant singer in space.
Where have you been, he thundered. You look an awful mess. What's happened to your crown and where's your pretty frilly dress?
I may be small, but that just means that there is so much in the world to see and do.
You can speak too.
Yeah, I'm going to speak too, because I'm going to tell all the children at my school about my favourite book. This is my favourite book, Room on a Broom. And my favourite line from Room on a Broom is...
The dragon.
I am a dragon,
Not
as mean as can be.
Not you.
And
not
I'm
me.
planning to have witch and chips for my tea.
One day he poured out his troubles to the starfish. I really am beautiful. Why doesn't anybody like me? I can't answer that for you, said the starfish. But if you go beyond the coral reef to a deep cave, you will find a wise octopus. Maybe she can help you.
They rode south for many days and nights, with the boy telling stories all the way. The penguin listened to everything that the boy said.
So they all went to bed.
Augustus the tiger was sad. He had lost his smile.
My favourite book is The Gruffalo. His eyes are orange, his tongue is black. He has purple prickles all over his back.
Through the window, not very far away, he could see the big black secret wood that was called the Forest of Sin.
Oh, I love this bit. The grass was wet with dew and a million dewdrops were sparkling and twinkling like diamonds around his feet. That's it.
Stop recording.
It matters not what someone is born, but what they grow to be.
But when he opened the door, he couldn't have been more surprised to see.
Sniff, 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 haddock and hay, pizza and penguins, and further away, the smell of the thief, and how very exciting, thousands of pages all covered in writing.
This book is called Neil Armstrong's and is illustrated by Mike Phillips. And my favourite sentence is, Neil loved aeroplanes and he dreamt all about flying in one.
Sophie couldn't sleep.
At last, cried the prince, I've found you.
Hey everyone, my current favourite children's book is Ada Twist, Scientist. She asks lots of questions. How could she resist? It's all in the heart of a young scientist.
Hello everyone. Do you have a favourite book? I'm not sure if I have a favourite book. I've got lots of favourite books. One of my favourite authors is Oliver Jeffers. He's written lots of my favourite books like How to Catch a Star and Lost and Found. This is also a great book by Oliver Jeffers. It's called Here We Are, Notes for Living on Planet Earth. And Oliver Jeffers wrote this book for his newborn son to try and explain to him the things that are important about planet Earth. And this is my favourite page. On our planet, there are people. One people is a person. You're a person. You have a body. Look after it. Most bits don't grow back. And here is that picture. And at the bottom, look after it, as most bits don't grow back. Bits that grow back, nails and hair. Lovely details, aren't they? And the book is full of those. Oliver Jeffers, Here We Are. Great book.
That was fun. I'm going to ask your teachers to pause the video again because I'd like you to think about this. Did you recognise any of the books that your teachers love? Perhaps you've read some of them already. Perhaps there are some that you'd like to read. Have a chat with your partner. Phew! I found it really interesting that of all of those adults, none of them chose the same story. Isn't that amazing? Did you notice the book Jeremy chose? Can you remember what it was? It was this book, Here We Are. And this week in school, everyone is going to be reading this very special book. I hope you enjoy it. You'll also notice that in your class, you have a plain old cardboard box. This box is for you to decorate any way that you and your class see fit, and it's going to become your class's special reading box. And over the year, you are going to fill it not just with any book, any story, but with all of your very special stories, the ones that are your favourites as a class. Enjoy and have a lovely day.